Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Welcome to my channel, and welcome back if you are returning, and thanks for stopping by. Today is episode 93. This is the weekly color. I am going to drop this on Sunday so that I can shift back one day. So I will be coloring each day, and then Sunday will be the weekly color. So the whole week will be all in the same week. Today is a review of 2 pages colored last week. It was the leaves page and the dinosaurs page. We're going to go over the finishing touches that I put on them and talk a little bit about my feeling of the pencils in general. I've owned the Star Joy Gold, that's the leaves page, for quite a while now. Haven't done a ton with them, so that was fun to give them a good go. And then on the right are the new Artistos that I snuck in because I got them last week and I immediately wanted to color with them. So I have some thoughts on those as well. I'm going to pause a moment so that I can zoom in close and not have you guys get seasick. All right, so this was the blues and greens leaves. I had used the blue Sparkle Pop, and how I handled the background, both of them used the same colors, but I did the backgrounds 2 different ways. So I used, for the lightest blue, 39B, the middle blue, 79MP, and the darkest blue, 38B. For the first circle, I went light to dark, where I covered the entire background all with the lightest color, moved in a little bit and did the middle color, and then the darkest color was the smaller circle that you see there. What I found, because this paper is so smooth, after I got the lightest layer down, I had a difficult time increasing in difficulty to do the middle tone and then the darkest blue, and I had to do a lot of work on getting this even as dark as it is. I ended up, you'll notice that my light blue is very flat. This is because I burnished with it over and over to smooth out the coloring, because it ended up, it was hard to get it to layer. This is an oil-based pencil, so it was hard to get it to layer on that smooth, slick surface. So then when it did, it was streaky. So I did use this a lot, especially on the top. I also noticed that because of the fully finished leaves, I was able to cover, when I did my circles, I was able to color right over the top of even the light greens are all covered over with the light, medium, and dark blue. The only thing that did happen is that these berries, the glitter on the blueberries dulled a little bit. So by the time I moved to the bottom one, I made sure, but of course I did it in a different way so that I didn't have as difficult a time. So the background was difficult. I found these pencils as a whole very pleasant to work with, very hard pigments. The cores are hard. I am very comfortable with them. I am used to a hard pencil. I am used to a non-crayon-like, because these are very uncrayon-like, and they blend really well, very easy. You know, you just go in some little circles. You watched me color all of these leaves, and they were just super simple to do, totally in my comfort zone, and I didn't have any weird stickiness, any strange where it would be inconsistent in the pressure. Maybe it's my pressure was more consistent with these because they are a pencil I'm comfortable with, and I loved doing the different, you know, this bright is one of my favorite color combinations, and I just think it came out fantastic on the leaves that I picked. And I really am happy with the, let's see, how many tones did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 different tones, and so that worked out really well. The only thing I wasn't happy with on this particular one was the background. I did erase the graphite if you're curious. After I wrote the circle down with the graphite, before I started putting color on, I lightened the graphite very light, and you can still see, I almost wish I would have used a softer graphite so that I would have erased all of it. I still see remnants of it, so that is a miss on my part. Now let's move on to, oh, that looks totally blurry. How did that happen? Interesting. I wonder if, I'm just forever learning about this. Also, before I even got started with the lightest blue, I did erase the graphite, though I wish I had used a softer graphite. I wish it would have been like an HB2 or something. I think I just grabbed a mechanical pencil, just one that I had on my desk. So I do see remnants of the graphite, and I have tried and tried and it will not come up. I did get something right here that also bugs me that I couldn't get rid of it. And since I'm coloring in a coloring book, I'm finding some transfer between one side to the other, and I try to keep my pages clean, but just using the book so much, I still see, oh, see, and that came right off. So I am finding that I get stray little bits between the pages, and so that is a challenge for me. All right, so when I was coloring the light, then the medium, then the dark, the page, the tooth filled up almost instantly with the lightest blue, which made the medium blue and the darker blue increasingly more difficult to get a nice smooth laydown because the surface was so slick. And the way I was able to color it is this, because each of the leaves were completely finished, I colored right over the leaves with all three blues. The only thing that happened was the Sparkle Pop blue, the glitter dulled. So I have already refreshed the glitter for you. And then I'm seeing that I keep erasing the lines. And how I remove the lines is I just take like a paper towel like so, and I just softly rub, and I look at the off angle. So if you don't like the look of the lines, I know some people like the look of the lines, but I don't. I want it to look smooth. So some of the blue comes off. That might even be, oh, that's glitter. It wasn't dry. Oh, there you go. So I might clean that up later, but I'm not gonna worry about that. That tells me that this glitter takes a long time to dry because I did the glitter at least 30 minutes ago. Now we're not focused, are we? I'm gonna tell it to focus. There we go. All right, so the now when I look at an angle, I don't see any marks. So that's what a soft, even a soft cloth instead of a paper towel would work. And you can see where I've used this a couple times with these backgrounds. All right, so love the different blue, the combos of the greens. The 4 different combos came out fantastic. These pencils are my style of pencil. I like a hard oil-based pencil. These are harder than the polys, but I am very comfortable with the prangs, and these are almost as hard as the prangs are, and they still go down really smooth. Very happy with these pencils overall. So let's move on to the orange. So the orange circle, I did a little bit different. I already I erased my graphite. For some reason, it is not as visible to me. And then how I did the coloring was the opposite. I started with my dark. I started with the dark in the center. Then I moved to the medium, and I circled around the edges, lightly softening it, and where I was going to blend into the lightest, and then I put the lightest color down. I did avoid the glitter. I had already figured out that the blue glitter was dulled by taking the pencil over and over. I can see at an angle here that I do have some marks, so I'm just going to, I mean, you don't even have to put any pressure, and those lines just go right away. It's very soft, but see how much blue does come up? So there we go. The orange combinations were lovely as well. I think that these pencils, it'll be nice on the, so I was able to use these and do color combos in a very small space, which emphasized using a very sharp pencil. And so these work really well for that, and they hold their point really well. But it will be fun when I do get around to using them the next time around, if I use them on images that have larger spaces that need to be blended into different combos. I don't have any arguments or anything bad to say about these pencils. I will say that even on the bottom here, I didn't have to do as much, though I did burnish with the light blue, which is Baby Blue 39B. I did try the Prismacolor on these. I was struggling with that upper one where I had no tooth left to try to get the darker middle. And so I did bring out the Prisma, and I did not like it very well, so I stopped using it. I typically, every time I'm doing this, I'm making the camera focus on the wrong thing. Sorry about that. So the blending pencil isn't my thing, but I tried it while I was struggling with ways to get enough color payout on the upper circle. The solution was, with whatever tooth there was available to me, I needed to put whatever color I wanted down, and it made it so much easier. And it actually, to my eye, looking at both of them, not through the lens, I see a difference in the smoothness between the bottom, and as well as the intensity. The color's a little more intense in the center. I am going to stop this one here. I did have my Signo out to perhaps do some dotting. I also was considering whiting out all of my leaf lines and making them white, but for now I'm going to stop. And I think I will take on a different coloring project where I'm making the black lines white. So for now, I'm just not going to complicate it. I had company last week. That was the other thing too. I didn't have a lot of spare time to dig into these until family left, and they did not leave until Thursday morning. So those were the Starjoy Golds. I'm now gonna check out some Dinosaurs. I do still struggle with the book in general with the spine. I haven't perfected how to deal with images like the tails. These two tails were challenging. I do not know what's flying overhead. It'll be interesting to see if I hear that. We have some sort of fighter jets or something. Wow, that's super loud. All right, so on the Dinosaurs, the top dinosaur had no shadows on the leaves. I've added shadows on the leaves. I finished the little grasses on the second dinosaur and the third dinosaur, and then I did backgrounds for all three. I will have photography of both pages, all of the images on each page, as well as the individual images in the slideshow so that you can peruse them at your leisure. For the background, again, this set of pencils was the Artistos. I did like them. I got really good comments from everybody. It seems to me like every single pencil has the lovers and the haters of them. And so the colors that I used for the background is A326 and A328 aqua blue and Castellan green. A little bit odd that they considered this a green because it looks like light blue to me. And I did the gray ground. The gray ground was I used 3 different grays. If you hear Hub in the background, he is just getting up from his nap. So we have Storm Cloud A309, Smoky Gray A360, and Dark Ash A353. I then also, for the shading on the green dinosaur, I did use black, where the bottom two I used dark brown. All right, for the grasses, I did the same colors. I did the same mossy green combo and the same bluey green combo, just flip-flopping the sides that I applied them. All right, so the sky was a good test of these pencils. I tried to be very soft. I ended up doing horizontal, making it sort of hazy clouds, and I used the white, which is white A300. It is also very, very dull like the light blue. I did a lot of burnishing with it. And these pencils are streaky. They are somewhat like the Spearer Farben. Let me take you back to where the Spearer Farben, I have all these pencils in my way. There we go. And I had problems, especially with the blue, where I had to be very careful with my pressure, and yet it was very easy to, just a slight change in pressure would put a line, and then I would have to smooth it out. So having already experienced that same behavior with the Artistos, I didn't even bother to try circular motions in the sky. I went ahead and embraced, I rotated it sideways. I'm left-handed, and I took my light blue and I purposefully did sideways motion, very sketchy lines for both the ground and the sky. I find with pencils, rather than fight what they are, if I learn them and understand their unique behaviors, I try to embrace that as best I can, and then that helps me get along with almost every pencil that I have worked with. They aren't my favorite. They're between the Starjoy Gold specifically and Artisto. I would say the Starjoy Gold I like way better. The Artistos feel like sort of a streaky, inconsistent Pablo. And again, I already talked about the Pablo feeling is because it's a hex, and also there is a silkiness to these that ends up not being as easy to manage with the pressure. And so I will get strange streaks. I had to apply, erase, apply, erase. I am very comfortable with applying and erasing a lot on like nature type art. So I just dove into my typical nature art style of drawing, and that way I kept these dinosaurs looking pretty smooth, nice transitions from lights to darks, from color to color, and I think that overall these still are a very nice pencil. I got a very good price on them. I loved the 25% off plus the extra 10% off. Couldn't be beat, and I would like a larger set of these. It would be great if they came out with your 120 to 150 would be great, and I would buy them. Though they're not going to be at the top of my list, I still like them well enough to continue to use them. All right, so you can see, in addition to the shadow lines I made on the left side, I had my light source in the upper right, and I then used the Signo, Uniball Signo, for doing some dotting and some lines. I didn't do a ton of it. Oh, and here we go, blurring again. Yeah, I don't understand that. Some days. I've got it all figured out for filming the coloring pages in the recliner. And then I do all of my card making videos here. And I don't have these weird focus issues, so it must be something unique to the coloring that I haven't mastered yet. All right, and then on the orange dragon, which was my husband's favorite dragon color, I keep calling them dragons, my husband's favorite dinosaur color, I did add more Signo. I find that these are a very slick surface, so the Signo wasn't as smooth at applying, and it was not consistent. I see a very thick line here, and I can see the center of the ball made a streak down the middle on a couple of these. And so that is probably me not being as proficient at applying the white over a slick surface colored pencil. I do really well when I make cards and I do some doodles and some highlights. That's always on alcohol markers or Copic markers. Oh my gosh, you guys, this cutest little, there's this bird. He is small. He's got an orange beak. He has a long neck, and he's like sandy colored with a tan head and upper back of his crest. And he goes around the houses looking for lizards. And his little head was bobbing right by my window just now as he's doing his circle around my house looking for critters to eat. So funny. The animal and wildlife here is great. So I'm not happy with how my inconsistency, I've got thin line, thicker line, streaky line, thin line, thin line. So I will have to work on mastering that as it applies over the top of a colored pencil, which is very different than how it applies over the top of the alcohol markers, as I've said. But as I said, Hub liked the orange dinosaur best, and then he liked the green one, and then he liked the brown one the least, which I really like the brown one. And so on the brown one, I was a little more consistent, though I still see like there's a thin line, and maybe I'm overthinking it. You guys let me know if I'm being too picky. I've added some little dotted highlights as well. You can't really see the highlights on the leaves. They ended up, when I did the coloring on the leaves, it was just that really soft, lightest tone of, I think it was peach blossom. But then I went over it with a couple of different tones. I had shiitake. Maybe shiitake was the color I used. So I have shiitake, and then I actually went a little darker with a Mindful Gray A369, and then that weird moose wood that's a metallic that I still think might actually supposed to be a metallic, even though it's not. I actually used it for some shading along the spine. You can just see a hint of it. It's got a little bit of a green cast to it, so I didn't want to use it a lot, and I actually had to erase some of it because I didn't like, since this is like a pinky peach tone, this was almost too green. But I did use it in the centers of these leaves. And I really liked the dinosaurs, and I do like the Artistos, but I can see where the streaky behavior of them and you have to be really careful with your ovals. If you are blending from light to dark, your ovals really have to be very smooth because it's too easy to streak, just like the Schwerer Farbens. So that is all I have to report on for this week's weekly color. Let's look ahead to next week's weekly color. I am pretty excited because I was going to have to do this very large spread, which I will just turn sideways. Oh, it doesn't even all the way fit. So let's do this. Let's see if I can make it fit without having to jiggle the camera. So this particular spread is 2 up, so I will only do 1/2 of it. If I used budget pencils, the next budget pencil set is going to be Amazon Basics, and I would really like to throw in another professional set, and I've done nothing with my polychromos except nature portraits. So I think I am going to tackle this rather than Amazon Basics, which I will say they're not my favorite, and polychromos are one of my favorites, and I think I would enjoy coloring such a large image with the polychromos rather than sort of be on the struggle bus with the Amazon Basics. So I do have a hidden agenda that I've just let you know. That is why I will pull out the polychromos. So the polychromos sit in an open tote. All of the colors of my professional sets are rubber banded together in a separate part of the tote. So I will have to go through and try to quickly and efficiently choose my colors for this aquatic scene. You know, this is seaweed and kelp. So I have to decide if I'm going to go fanciful or realism. And then you've got some fun fish, some shells, and then a kind of a little filigree, very thin though, so that won't have to be too fancy. Okay, so then the next after that, I have 3 fish, and I am very happy with the 3 fish being the 3 A sets left. Artisto being the newest set that I just got last week, and it's the 4th of my 4 budget letter A sets. So that would mean we have Amazon Basics, Arteza, nope, Artex, because it's ARRTX, and then Arteza. I do not think that I will accomplish more than these 2 pages, but we shall see. I don't think that the polys, even if I'm going as fast as possible, I'll probably take 2 days for this. 1, 2, 3. So it could be, let's go one further, back to houses, that I will be at least starting on the houses. And then looking ahead even further to the next week, this set of 35 flowers, I am really hoping that I get a jump start with my flowers, Brutfuners, the 520s, and I think I'm going to try to tackle these very simple images with pulling from the Brutfuner flower boxes. I just need to get them put into the database in 2 weeks, so I think I can do that. And then, oops, those are some inks. Down for the count. I do owe everybody the Castle Arts Gold, and I have had time now to sit down and do some more swatching. As soon as I finish the swatches, I'll be able to do a video. I have 1 image, the moth image was done, and then I wouldn't mind trying to finish another image with them so that I'll have 2 completed projects. And I do already have 1 more completed project that I did some DSP with the Castle Arts Gold and the Soft Touch, both on the same piece, and I will bring that out for you guys to see. All right, so do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow for the Daily Color.